Hello, friends. It's me again, and it's time for another story. A tale of neckbeardery. My allergies are acting up, so if I have any kind of issues, I'll try to edit it out, but you guys might hear me sniffling a little bit. Sorry about that. It's that time of year again. Either way, let's get into the story. This is from our friend Roku, and this is Memoirs of a Beard Magnet. Memoirs of a Beard Magnet. Sweater-wearing dorm beard. That's a lot of things happening at one time. I don't know what to expect from this. Let's just see what happens, kids. Hello, Moonhorse and friends. Hello, Roku and friends. Here's another non-fiction explaining why I'm a beard magnet, or at least proof that I am one, for some unholy reason. First actual date. Early college, and I, a very late social bloomer, met an upperclassman while registering for a couple of classes on a very bright, perfect fall day. He was tall, lots of curly dark hair, the kind of trimmed beard that I liked. He even smelled good. Our conversation culminated in agreeing to exchange phone numbers and go out. I was pumped, as my high school had been a really small one, and dating anyone there felt like incest because everybody knew everybody else, so, well, it's, weird. Also, some of them were actually related. It takes on a whole new context now that we did the Christian stream, doesn't it, kids? The beard wasn't on his neck, oh no. The external beard was neat and perfect, but the internal beard lurked on the greasy neck of his fedora, which I was neither socially nor spiritually advanced enough to see. The next day, he showed up at my dorm room, and I assumed we'd go somewhere from there, as had been implied by our agreement earlier. Instead of going out, he said he needed to just stay there for some unspecified reason. I said, sure, and didn't think a lot about it. Maybe he had a class soon, or was wanting to catch a ride or something. I was willing to make up all sorts of harmless reasons for him, because I was still in the habit of giving everyone the benefit of the doubt. I offered him a drink of whatever mid-level wine I illegally had in my dorm room, because no one in that dorm would have an alcohol-free dorm at any age. He took the glass and drank it, but somehow got a little on his sweater. It was white wine, and it wouldn't have stained the patterned dark brown ski sweater, but he seemed to panic. He angrily and frantically demanded various things to clean it, and seemed paranoid about the slightest smell of it lingering. Odd. Once he got settled down again, he wanted to sit closer and apparently calm himself with some wet kissing. I've never heard that phrase before, but it terrifies me, catching me by surprise. I tried to go along with it, because at the time I was still trying to force myself to be physically interested in other people, but I've always been nauseated by wet mouth parts touching. What a way with words you have. I was struggling with that when his teeth touched mine and sort of gagged and leaned back to grab the wine bottle to rinse out my mouth with a deep sanitizing of fruit-flavored alcohol. He took these protests as an invitation to run his hands all over my breasts and try to lean in for more. I turned my head and swilled down some more of the wine and made it like I was about to carelessly slosh it around. He flinched back and stared for a bit, like he didn't get it, so I told him it was time for my roommate to return for the night. The prospect of someone seeing him there did it. He grabbed his backpack, cursed a little more about the sweater, and then took off, not to be seen again. Thankfully. Almost. A few years later, I was still living with the same roommate, as I perused some post-grad studies, and she was getting her second degree. We rented a place a few miles out of town, and were selling some of the things to reduce the amount of unused crap we had around the house. And he showed up in response to the ad to look at a pair of cross-country skis. And I knew who he was right away, but I kept it to myself. That soul beard had indeed migrated from his aura to his external neck. He had nearly doubled in weight. He still wore sweaters, even in warm weather. He hung around for a while, talked about the skis, and wanted to pay an insultingly fraction of what was an already low asking price, but we turned down the offer, and he went on his way. Because he still had the phone number from the ad, and because neckbeards are drawn to me like chewing gum is drawn to the underside of a desk, he called back later and told me he was sure he knew me from somewhere, and that whenever, wherever that was, he was sure he really liked me. Then he asked me out. At this point, I apparently gave the phone such a dismayed, horrified look, my roommate started to laugh at me. I assured him that we didn't know each other, and said goodbye. Those of us who slowly came into these social interactions might feel like they have to be nice and meekly deflect a gross situation like I did, all in the name of good manners, but it is your right to set personal boundaries, and don't forget it. You are 100% right about that last part. Your personal boundaries are your personal boundaries, and no one has any right to violate them, ever, for any reason. There's so much about this dude that, like, I'm confused about, you know? Like, what was with the sweaters? Why always sweaters? Like at first I thought, and maybe it was this at first, it sounds to me like maybe first time the sweater was a gift from someone who was not supposed to know he was there, aka he was probably seeing somebody on the side. And considering how fast he went for, you know, the hands-on approach, shall we say, kind of sounds like he expected to go there, get some, and then go away. That didn't exactly work out for him, but it also kind of sounds like the sweater was maybe a gift, maybe something he was expected to wear where someone would actually notice any kind of stain or spill or anything like that on it. So maybe, I mean, this is just me speculating, obviously. I'm just grasping at whatever tiny straws there are here, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And maybe that was the case for the first one, but the question is, like, years later, all these years later, and he's still doing the sweater thing. Like, what is that? What's going on with that? That's weird. There's something extra about that. I don't know, man. I don't really know. This was a weird dude. I will say that. This was, like, one weird fucking dude. Like, I can't with that. Like, I'm telling you, it sounds like he may have been trying to pull something. I'm telling you, it sounds like there was, like, somebody else on the side. Why else would you care so fucking much? It's white wine. It's not gonna stain, because it's literally white wine. And you can just throw it in the machine. Like, and it's a tiny, like, spill. It's not even like, oh no, you got soaked in the entire bottle. Now you literally smell like a vineyard. Like, no, dude. It wasn't even that. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something very suspect about all of that. Or maybe he's just a weirdo. You know, I mean, these are neckbeard stories we're talking about, and that's also an option. I don't know. I really don't know. But yes, you are right to basically just be like, nah, dude, and curve this guy, and then just go off on your own way, because he was like a super weirdo about it, so I don't think you need to put up with anybody who wants to violate your personal boundaries like that. Also the fact that he's like a weird neckbeard about it. That's just the extra. That's not the only reason. That's like the extra. It's bad when someone does that, violating your personal boundaries, but if it's a neckbeard doing it, somehow it's like that much extra. Same thing with like a legbeard thing. Like, you know, it's bad if they violate your personal boundaries, but if they're like this, it's that little gree on top that make you be like, don't like that. Don't like that at all. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he did remember you. I gotta say, like, from the follow-up phone call and everything, maybe he actually did, and had it in your head, or had it in his head, rather, that you were somehow going to, like, notice him and just be like, oh, it's you. Oh, wonderful, joyous reconnection. I'll totally swoon for this man. And then you were just like, look, bitch, just pay for the skis and leave, or, like, get the fuck out of here, man. I don't have time for all this nonsense. If that's the case, that's somehow even funnier. But, you know, again, speculating. But that's the end of this story. So thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share videos. Also, I've been told this by a couple of people. Make sure to check your subscriptions and notifications and stuff. Turns out sometimes YouTube just unsubscribes people and turns off their stuff without telling them. That's real cool, YouTube. That's really fucking cool. If you would like to support this channel, I have a merch store with a bunch of new designs in it that I just added, and I have a Ko-Fi with an incredibly stupid goal, which you can be a part of, which will be made into a video if the goal is met. I also have a subreddit, if you'd like to send me your own weird stories, r/Moonhorse stories. That's me. You can check that out. And there's a live stream every Saturday. It's kind of like this, only, you know, we watch weird videos and talk about stuff. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for being here. I love you all so very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.